Hey everybody, it's Queen Jelly and welcome back to my toy box. Today we're going to be doing an unboxing of Monster High's newest character, Corazon Marikit. So this is a new character that was just launched for the Mattel Reveals collection. I'm so excited that my doll came as quickly as she did. It was within the week as the order was put out. I've also already received the Little People pillow that I ordered, but not the Little People figures, and the Uno set is already on its way. So I'm pretty excited. Yes, I did buy almost everything that was Monster High that was released. I didn't buy like everything from like the associated lines, but I did buy all of the main products and then an additional pillow, which I will show in the video when I do it about the Little People figures whenever they do come in. Those were a pre-order. The Uno was also set to be a pre-order, but is, like I said, already shipping. And then she was already ready to go, as well as the pillow was shipped super fast. So really quick before we get into her, I just want to point out that on the boxes, everyone's been a little bit different, but this one right here has a whole like contents, and it's like 1 doll, 1 stand, 2 accessories, 1 certificate of authenticity. And like, I'm not super fond of that, since these are the shipping boxes that they arrived to my house in, and it'd be pretty easy for someone to like just look at that and see what it is and take it. Not to say already it isn't already very not inconspicuous with it being this giant Mattel Creations box, but I have a feeling like it has to do with international shipping, because sometimes customs can be really particular about like needing to know what's inside the box. So that's my assumption, but I'm not super fond of it. I noticed that it's been a trend towards doing more obvious what's in the box on these shipping boxes, and I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't feel super comfortable with it, but at the same time, like, if it's something they need to do, it's something they need to do. But I haven't really looked too closely at my doll. I just did open her up to get the picture for my last video, since I've been trying to add little clips at the end to show what I'm going to be unboxing next. So I just took the tissue off the front of her box, but this is going to be the first time like actually pulling her out. There's an extra cardboard piece back here, I'm assuming to help protect and keep the keep her box from sliding, which we'll talk about in a moment. Of course, as usual, this is going to just be a quick introduction, me talking about the doll, showing just a quick overview of the box. Then we'll go into the actual in-depth look at the box. Then, of course, the unboxing and review of the doll itself. If you're interested in certain parts of this unboxing experience, don't be afraid to use the timestamps down below in the timeline. I will do my best to get those added into the specific times. Of course, I would enjoy if you would stick around for the whole thing, but if not, that's perfectly okay. There should be timestamps available for you to jump to the spot that you are interested in. Anyway, here is a close-up look at the front of her box, just really quick. We do have a lot of extra space up here, which again we'll talk about in a moment. And this doll was revealed for the Mattel Creations Revealed event, which is a yearly event that they started doing last year. And I hope that they continue doing it. It was really fun to watch. I like the way that they did it this year with the introduction of adding fans to come up and like introduce the new products, which I think was really fun. I was not able to enter this year because the way that my collection is set up, it's very mixed together. There's a lot of like Mattel mixed with Hasbro, mixed with, you know, MGA. Like, my collection isn't like segregated. I know it kind of looks like it because I have my whole like Monster High section up here, but like the rest of it isn't really segregated as much as I would have liked for filming a video to like show off my collection, because they really didn't want to see other brands in there, obviously, because if they're going to be, you know, sharing that video, they don't want to promote other brands. So I get it, but that's why I wasn't able to enter this year. But I would probably be interested in trying next year when that comes up again. But if it comes up again anyway. They said that it would, but we'll see. Also, you know, you never know if Monster High is going to continue or not. Fingers crossed. Hopefully it will. It's been going pretty strong lately. The secondhand market is still crazy. So and they just announced that there's going to be a new G3 show, which is really exciting because the first one got canceled. I don't know for what, but they're going to be rebooting it with a slightly different art style. And then they're using the reboot dolls designs, not reboot, refresh, the core refresh designs. They're using those for the designs of these characters. So I thought that was really cool because, one, it kind of incorporates another design that we didn't have yet. And two, that they're really invested in making this work. So they're trying again, I guess. So that's really awesome. Anyway, for her, like I said, she was revealed at Mattel creations. I'm hoping to put the link down below to the video. If it'll let me copy it, because I know that sometimes it lets you like copy like for a specific time fragment. I will try and copy it to that specific time, but I can't promise because it is a long live stream, and you know, YouTube can be kind of finicky with things like that. But like I was saying, she was revealed during the Mattel Creations Revealed event, and she went on sale immediately afterwards, which I did order her and the other things each separately, because the way that it was set up was you're supposed to receive an email with a free shipping code if you ordered more than one thing during the live stream. I still haven't received that free shipping code, so I'm not sure what the deal is with that. I might have to contact them and see, even though I still haven't gotten any contact information back since the last time I emailed them about my Lydia doll having a weird extra piece of hair in there, which I've come to find one other person's post about it, and it looks exactly the same as mine. So I do think it was just a weird error, and it doesn't look to be that her hair was cut, because that was my bigger concern. It wasn't really that there was extra hair in the packaging, because like that's just odd, but I just want to make sure that it wasn't like damaged, and it doesn't look to be from what I can find. Most people don't have pictures of the back of their dolls' heads, but the ones that I can find, they do look to be pretty much the same as the one that I have, so that's at least good. But again, still a little concerning that I still haven't received that email that I was supposed to get. But anyway, here she is. As I was saying, she does have this extra space up here at the top of the box, and you can kind of see these little contraptions here at the back. It's because you can go like this and slide her up while she's still in the box so that she can float and separate from her other half, which it's kind of giving to me the same way as the Freak to Chic Draculaura. Remember her when they gave us the packaging for her that could be read right side up or upside down, so that you could display her either way in the box. It's really appreciated that they go that extra mile to make sure that even box collectors can have fun with whatever unique gimmick that they give the dolls, and you don't have to unbox them in order to experience it. But as you know, today we are definitely going to be unboxing her, which is super exciting. I cannot wait to have her in my hands. One last thing that I will say before we move on is thank you so much for joining me here. I do hope you're enjoying. If you do, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. As always, it really, really helps out the channel. We are slowly creeping towards 900 followers, which is so exciting. And if you do any of those things, it tells YouTube that you also enjoy our content, and it helps it to get back into the algorithm so that you can find us again. So please, again, if you enjoy us, don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, and we'll see you on the desk to get her unboxed. So here we have Corazon Marikit in her box here on the desk. We'll take a quick look at the outer side of it. We'll read what's on the back, and then we'll get moving on to unboxing. So for front here, it says Monster High Collector. And then, as you said, we can see the doll in here, which we can either raise her up to this position or have her lower down onto her body. Here's the bottom half of her along with her purse hanging out, and then she has this beautiful, gorgeous background. And then it says Corazon Marikit here on the front, which actually means beautiful heart, which is a very fun reference to the fact that as a Manalangala, part of her lore is that she eats people's hearts. So for her name to mean beautiful heart is like a really cute, like punny way of naming her, which we always love the Monster High puns when they are done with respect, of course, because I found out that one of the names was not done with respect, and it's really upsetting to me, especially because I had said it multiple times not knowing that information about it. So, but that's not what this video is about. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and continue with her box, which is quite tall. And then on the side here, it says Monster High, and we can see some newspaper clippings. And then it says Corazon Marikit on this side, with again those same clippings. So I'm going to do my best to read what's here on the back. But like this phrase here does appear to be in Filipino. And so like I'm not going to read that part, and I may pronounce some of the other words wrong. Just putting that out there, but I'm going to try to read it for you. So it says, the Cebu citizen, public excitement over Manalangala sighting. Corazon Marikit seen flying across the Philippines. Word on the street is there's a new ghoul in town, and she's a Manalangala. Sources in Cebu have spotted a bat-winged figure flitting across the city after midnight. Reports suggest her name is Corazon Marikit. I was going on a walk and suddenly the scent of sampaguita was thick in the air, said local Aswang and daughter Glenda Shu. I looked up and saw her, the Malangala. She was silhouetted against the moon, wearing the gorgeous Filipino terno with red fringe. Next time I see Corazon, I'm going to ask where she got her purse. Malangalos are known for leaving their feet on earth to call them back home after flying through starry skies. They also tend to steal hearts with their beauty and have a real distaste for salt. Cebu is abuzz with excitement about such a rare and powerful monster being in their midst. Looks like lurking on the rooftops might just be this season's hottest new trend. And then this is that phrase, like I said, that I'm not going to try and say. And it says, "Who is that ghoul?" Aswang child describes the mysterious monster she spotted. She looks very similar to Draculaura, but obviously it's not supposed to be the same. Monsterazzi takes rare photo of Malanangala. And then it says Corazon Marikit, but then is cut off by this artwork of here down here, which I'm sure is a concept art for her, since the concept art was worked into the box of Lenore as well. And then it says Mattel Creations down here in the corner. And as you can see, this right here is the contraption that holds her up. So there's these two little bubbles that kind of pop into the holes to hold it in place. So you can push these in, and then it slides down. And then now she's in her standing position. Or then you can slide these up and they just kind of pop into place, and then she'll be in the flying position. So that is a really cool design, I think, that they did for her box. And now that we've talked about that, we will go ahead and get her out of it. But I did also just notice the flowers up here in the corner are the same ones that are on her hair, which are the same ones mentioned in this story of Sampaguita. Those are the state flowers of the Philippines, as well as described in the story. Usually the scent of them in the air is supposed to mean that ghosts and ghouls are nearby. So that is why she has them in her hair, because obviously that's what's allowing the scent to come. There's also some other design details that they talked about, and some that I'm noticing that they didn't, that we will get into once she's unboxed. But with that being said, it's time to do that. she is completely out of the box and currently standing on her stand in the down position. Here is their certificate. This certifies that your Monster High Corazon Marikit doll materialized through the collaborative efforts of designers and artists at Mattel, and then is signed by Glenda. I cannot read the last name. I'm sorry. The way that this reflection is making this really hard for me to be able to read it. But that is the lead designer for this doll. I'll be interested to see if we continue to get new designers every time, since this is the designers collection, similar to how Barbie is doing a designer collection. As a reminder, this is a Mattel Creations exclusive doll. She is $75, and as of recording, this is still currently available, as well as Lenore, which is from last year's Revealed. I recently did a video on her, which there should be an iCard for her around here somewhere. My guess is that they make a number of these dolls just because they're meant to be a little bit more available and not super limited, but I could be wrong on that. We'll start with her accessories. I do apologize if I miss any of the cultural references here, but it is a woven bag with some tassels on it, as well as a spider design, and then the handles appear to be kind of made out of skelettes. And then if we open the top, it is or you could slide some stuff in and out, which is kind of nice. And then we have her fan here, which is white with this pink red design that kind of looks like wings with a little heart here in the center. It does not collapse or anything, but there is a little hole here that I'm assuming is supposed to be for her thumb, so she can actually hold it. And right now I do have her on her stand. So her stand is actually a 2-part stand. The base is quite large. It's probably about the size of like Calliope stand. And then the back has this part here that actually hinges, which I will show you in a moment. But like I said, right now, this is her in the standing position, which feels kind of bulky because of the stick going all the way up her back. But then we can pull her apart, and her top should stay on this upper portion of the stand, which, like I said, does tilt side to side so she can be in different poses, as well as the waist clip itself also rotates so she can tilt to the side but then still keep her upright. Obviously once you pose her, it'll be fine, but obviously it's just a little finicky to get it into those positions. And then we'll pull her hair back. She has a lot of hair, so you can do different things like this, different like positions for her to be flying in, which is really fun. I love when they give us unique stands. It really adds to the doll, and it makes it so that it doesn't take away from the fact that you've unboxed her. She can still do the separation gimmick. That's something that I really appreciate, that they thought out ways to display her for both in-box and out-of-box collectors. Here's just a quick look at the stands without her on it, so you can see that mechanism here that rotates it, and then this clip right here allows itself to rotate as well, and you can slide it up and down on the stick. It is quite firm, so it does a pretty good job of holding itself in place. And then we can go over her like usual. I will have to, I think, undress her in order to remove that piece. So we'll talk about this, about her first, and then we'll look at that. So as we were talking about earlier, she does have those flowers in her hair, which are the state flowers of the Philippines. And again, the scent of them can mean that there are ghosts around. So that's kind of why she wears them, to kind of kind of feed into that like lore of it, that you're smelling them. That's because she's wearing them. And then down here we have her earrings, which from my understanding are like a local food dish from the Philippines that's very popular. I'm not entirely sure what the name is off the top of my head, because I'm not super familiar with Filipino culture. I do apologize for that, but here on the side she has really cool ears. They're kind of similar to the shape of like, say, like Draculaura's, but they're much longer. They're very bat-like, which is really cool. And then for her hair, it is really long. It would be past to about her bottom, I believe. When she's together, it's almost to her knees if you stretch it out, but it kind of sits right around her bottom. It is mostly black with just an extra touch of purple at the top layer. So there's purple that's going back, and then purple that's pulled across as a bang. And then here on the other side is the same ear. For her necklace, it is one solid piece, but it does look like it's 2 layers. It's kind of semi-opaque. For her top, it's a white puff sleeve with red detailings. So it has these red crosses that kind of look like they're dripping blood, and then little hearts inside of each of these little diamond shapes that are created. There is a lace detail at the end of the sleeves, as well as a bright yellow bracelet on either side. And then we have these red tassels here. These red tassels here are to represent her guts, essentially, because of course it's Monster High. We didn't go super macabre with them, but in the lore, she kind of has her her insides kind of hanging out below her. So that is how they represented that, as well as giving her this really cool backbone piece, which I'm going to take all of her clothes off and we'll do a body inspection to see the new sculpt for that. Also here on her back is her wings, which are embroidered. And then, so there's this plastic casing over the top here that is the actual like bone for the wings, but then this in here is a fabric with this like beautiful detailing on it. You can see it on both wings. And that is a peek at it from the back, so you can see the whole design. Then from the waist down, this is what the insert looks like, where you can stick that backbone into, which is something that I was a little concerned about because from the stock photos, you can't really see the connection points. So I just thought that her top just kind of sat on top of the bottom, but the fact that it actually like connects to each other is really appreciated. That way it can sit and like you can actually like have her with you without having to worry about her just like falling apart at any second. You can still hold her like you normally would a Monster High doll. And then she has a skirt with the same pattern on it with the hearts inside of the bleeding stripes, and then the red tassels at the bottom to match her top. And then she has on these yellow and green shoes. These are supposed to be houses from the Philippines. I do believe they have a specific name, but I don't, again, know that off the top of my head. And then there is some palm trees hanging out over them. It's very pretty. Yeah, now I think the last step is to take a look at her without all the stuff on so that we can see that connection in action. Now I did take the top off and I found that there is this cute little bralette underneath, which is really nice. For the purposes of this video, it's also really nice because now she doesn't have to be completely undressed for me to show you her connection point. Also, I do want to point out here that the wings are removable. They did come off in the packaging and I put them back on, and I was able to pop them off now for the undressing and redressing portion. But as you can see, there is this really cool spine piece hanging out in here in the upper torso. And then in the bottom, there is this hole where the spine will slide in. And then you can also see how there's kind of layers here. So that means that when you line up the backbone into that hole, you can just give it a little push. And the pieces will actually slide right in, and you'll just have this very minimal thin line through there. But otherwise, it does get flush and look exactly the same as a normal body, which I think they did a really good job with making that connection nice and smooth, especially since most people aren't even going to really pay attention to that. I honestly don't know how many people are going to display her as a solid doll. Most people are probably going to display her as separated pieces because that's kind of like the whole gimmick with this doll. But I do really appreciate that, like, I can still like play with her or bring her around with me if I wanted to, and I don't have to worry about her separating on me. I have her all put back together on her stand for now. This is how I have her posed, with the stand going off to the side and her kind of tilted so that she's upright. Again, I really just adore the way that they designed this for display. It'll be really nice because my display area for my collector dolls are getting really tight. So I'm appreciating these ones where they're a little bit higher so they can kind of float above some of the other dolls and make themselves still be seen even from the back or the farther back part of my shelf. So it's really fun. Overall, I'm really loving this doll. So I want to very briefly talk about representation here. As I was saying earlier, I am not connected to, nor do I know that much about the Filipino culture, so I cannot speak too much about it, so this won't be long. But I do want to say that overall, from all the research that I've done, this doll has been well received by people from within the culture. The only minor complaint seems to be that they wished that she had a darker skin tone. To me, most of the comments seem to say it as a preference, rather than the fact that it would take away from the heritage by her not being. And I can completely understand that comment, because when she's in this form like this, she is meant to be disguised like a human and blend in with the regular world. That's why she can take off her wings so easily and connects seamlessly, because she is not meant to look like a monster when she is in this form. However, my soft argument to that, because again, those comments are not wrong, I'm just thinking on the point of why they would have designed her this way, in my opinion, is because she does live in a monstrified world. And so therefore, in order for her to blend in the same way that she would in our world when she is together, she would have to have a base that looks kind of a little bit more monstrous. And so I think that that's why even when she's connected, she is pink and she kind of still looks like a monster. It's to blend in with the surroundings that she is in, rather than the surroundings of the real world that we would have placed her in if she was a darker skin tone. Again, absolutely nothing wrong with that comment. I 100% agree that she could have represented darker skinned people by being darker skinned, but at the same time, as I said from the comments, it seems to be more of a preference rather than a complete takeaway, because Monster High dolls do tend to be in these like fantasy skin tones, so it's not something that's completely different or out of the box from the brand. If there was no such thing as a fantasy skin tone doll, and then on the one doll that's supposed to be a person of color, we went ahead and give them skin color that was a different color than what they're supposed to have, that would be a completely different argument here. So again, completely valid criticism, but at least I appreciate that that is the only real criticism that they have of this doll. For otherwise, as far as I have seen, she has been taken very well by people from that culture, which is really good to hear. And a total win for inclusion. Again, overall, a very beautiful doll. In my opinion, I don't mind that I paid the $75 for her. But obviously, like, I've been paying $75 for, you know, most of the dolls. So seeing as my main collection right now is mostly Monster High, G3, and G1, and a lot of the other dolls that I'm getting are on sale, it means that I have the money to be able to spend on these more expensive dolls, because I save and specifically put money to the side when I know that a collection that's coming up is coming out. As always, I've always said this, I will never complain about not spending as much on dolls, but at the same time, like, I can understand where the price comes from most of the time. And she was the same price as the previous year's Lenora Loomington, which I know a lot of people were saying that they preferred Lenora once they saw the images for our Malangala here, but a lot of those people did kind of seem to change their mind when they saw that she did the separation. So I can kind of understand. She didn't look very extravagant in her like original stock photo where she was just kind of sitting down together. But I think the whole like separating with, so it has a new body sculpt here and here, kind of really help with that. And again, as far as cultural like appreciation, she seems to like really hit the mark on that. So I love this doll. I hope you guys did too. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you very soon for the next video. Bye. Stick around to find out which doll we're unboxing next.